trying to tell you something. Yeah, 2 a.m. That's when heaven gets real quiet and starts talking. I've been waking up at 2 a.m. feeling that spirit moving again. It's like a whisper in the dark saying, son, it's time to listen. Ain't no dreams, just revelation, a holy visitation. And when God starts speaking that, you ever wake up in the middle of the night?
Oh my gosh. Jesus. This is by
you just know God's trying to tell you something.
Digital Sound.
Yeah. 2 a.m.
I pray you take over this live.
Heaven gets real quiet.
Speak through me so it's all of you and none of me.
Starts talking.
Allow those that you want to hear this to come either now or later.
I've been waking up at 2 a.m.
Jesus, speak through us, speak through the
Feeling that
scriptures.
spirit moving again.
Use me as your willing vessel so it's all of
It's
you
like
and
a
none of me.
whisper in the dark saying, son, it's time to listen. Ain't no dreams, just revelation, a holy visitation. And when God starts speaking that truth, and you don't roll over.
Send your angels for the north, south, east, and west to cover this life.
You ever wake up in the
Jesus. So, I wasn't going, my plan was not to, I wasn't going to do another music ministry and Bible study until November 1st. That was my plan. But, you know, when I feel like God is speaking to my spirit about something, or he wants me to address something, or he wants me to read the next chapters, you know, I try to be obedient to whatever I feel like God is saying, you know, right now. And that song really captured me. I mean, because how many of you have found yourself waking up in the middle of the night? In all honesty, like when you go to sleep, you know, a lot of people say that, you know, they find themselves waking up in the middle of the night. They wake up at 3 or 4, can't go back to sleep. You know, their mind racing, they thinking about something, whatever. And I thought about that. And I'm like, you know, that period, like when you're asleep is when your spirit is most awake, right? Or the most, like you can hear the you know, like say if you come up out of a dream and you know, and there's something about that dream that you still remember, right? Or, you know, you start to thinking or planning, or you just hear the Holy Spirit speaking to your spirit. Like that song just really touched me because I felt like that's what a lot of us do. You know, we wake up in the middle of the night.
You just know God's trying to tell you something.
And that's when God be trying to speak to your spirit, your soul about something. Middle of the night.
That's when heaven gets real quiet.
Jesus.
It starts talking. I've been waking up at 2 a.m. Feeling that spirit moving again. It's like a whisper in the dark saying,
it's called Holy Ghost.
Son, it's time to listen. Ain't no dreams, just revelation, a holy visitation. And when God starts speaking that truth, man, you don't roll over. You ever wake up in the middle of the night?
So I feel like this is a season when God is really speaking to us. He really is, right? There is such a heaviness in the atmosphere right now. There's such a heaviness, almost like a cloud. It's almost heavy like a cloud. I always talk about that dream that I had, and I was trying to find my book and couldn't find it, but you know what? It might be in here. Now I think about it. Let me see. Yes. So God spoke to me in the middle of the night in 2012, and he gave me a dream, right? And the dream was so real like, right? It was so like, and this is not the cover that's available on Amazon, but it's called The Symbol. I feel like God was giving us a warning, um, or definitely giving me a warning about what was to come through this dream, right? And the book really is about, the spiritual warfare that's going on. You can almost see the dark cloud, right? You see the dark cloud. And if you look real, real close, you can almost see like images in that dark cloud, I think. But you probably can't see it on here. And then there's this angel, right? And the angel is watching over the city. But there is definitely this dark cloud. In the dream, God showed me the spiritual warfare that was to come. And the battle between, angels and demonic spirits, or, principalities of darkness, or whatever you call that. God gave me that dream in the middle of the night. There's a lot of you who God is going to be giving you dreams. And when you get those dreams, you should write them down because there's a significance to it. So this wasn't the type of book that I normally write. However, a prophet was already telling me, like probably weeks in advance, she said, God is about to give you a new book in a dream. She kept telling me that. And so every time I would go back to talk to her, she would talk about this dream that God was going to give me, right? And I was like, okay. And every time I see it, she said, have you had the dream yet? I'm like, no, I ain't had it yet, And then she was just like, okay, well, you're going to. And sure enough, in the middle of the night, I had a dream that was so real. Like it felt like a movie. That's how real this dream was. To the point where when I woke up, I immediately wrote down everything that I had seen in this dream. There, and then but I held it for like 7 years. Like I got away because I was like, is this what you really want me to put out? Surreal to me, But then in 2019, May to be exact, God said, I need you to release it. So I released the book. The book was almost like a warning of what was to come in my dream, right? And then 2020, of course, the whole world changed. It just completely changed. We came up under a virus that we had never seen, and I had never seen in my lifetime, that basically hit the whole world. It really blows my mind how God uses us. I'm not going to just say me, I'm saying us, because there's many of us who God gives us dreams, or he speaks to us in the middle of the night. He speaks to us, you know what I'm saying, in those midnight hours. What I feel right now is that, not just America either, but the world is under this, I don't know, this heaviness. It's like it's over this dark cloud, right? It's a dark cloud. It's dark spirits, principalities of darkness, rulers in high places that, are like the evil kings in First and Second Kings in the Bible. Like that's what's going on right now in not just America, but in the world, right? But you see that God, anytime the enemy comes with tactics, God always sends in help. He always has help on the way, or he's always looking over his children, even when we don't do right? So like even when we read the book of Judges, and the children of Israel wouldn't do right, wherever they would come under, a serious suppression from, the evil people, God would always send in help. He would always send in help. It wasn't until we got to the last, about the end of the book of Judges, or around the end, that he was just like, listen, I keep sending y'all help, but y'all keep doing the same thing over and over again. So this time I'm not going to send help, but You're gonna have to go through some stuff. You got to learn some stuff, like some bad kids, right? So it's so deep to me, this story, right? I feel like, you know, we are under this dark cloud, and we were over under that same kind of dark cloud back in um, 2020. That same heaviness, that same feeling of warfare, within America and around the world. But then, we end up, it's like as soon as a new government came in, it was like the cloud was lifted. I ain't gonna say it was perfect, but at least that heaviness was lifted. And then we was, of course, grumbling and moaning about whatever. But then we had the opportunity to vote again, and we went back to that heaviness. We chose that again, right? We all like this book I wrote called, and this is my own personal copy, but it's called "This Can't Be Love," and it's about a domestic violence victim, right? Because the thing about domestic violence victims is a lot of times they keep going back to their abuser, right? And you're trying to figure out, like, what if you knew that this person was abusive, or this man was abusive, or woman was abusive, or whatever, why do you keep going back to them, right? But that's something that we need to ask ourselves, like, why do we keep going back to what we knew hurt us? I don't know. But so I put up a post today, on Sunday, about some food banks, because starting November 1st, in America, they're going to start food stamps. Food stamps is something that's been around for a long time, but they're going to stop it because the government is shut down. So I was at church, and the pastor gave out like some information for those who may need it, food banks and stuff like that. Immediately, people started coming on that post, that same kind of dark energy like I'm talking about, and they immediately attacked the post and started saying all this stuff about politics and the government and stuff. That ain't what that post was about. That post was about helping each other. That post was about those grandmas and grandpas that are living at home alone, and they live off them food stamps, and how to get help for them while we're going through this. That post was for people who are disabled and they can't work. They got whatever kind of issues going on, and they can't work. The dialysis patients, the heart patients, you know what I'm saying? They got spina bifida, they got different stuff, whatever it is, they cancer patients, whatever, and they can't go out and work. And so with them, with the food stamps being shut down, it's hurting those kind of people. And then it's the children. The children ain't got nothing to do with what these parents do, what they do or don't do. But they still got to eat. They still got to be fed. So that post that I put up with the church giving out information was not a political thing. It wasn't for people to come up and say, "Oh, it's the Democrats or the Republicans." It wasn't about that. It's about how can, in this period of time, when we're going through a very dark period, how can we help each other? What resources can we give? Do you know resources that somebody could use? How about you? Do you know some resources? Like this particular church, just a church I go to, New Birth, put up numbers that nationally the people in America could call if they needed help with food. That was all that was about. The people immediately went in that I don't know, that dark that I'm talking about that energy came in and immediately attacked that and try to turn it into something negative. How can anything that's helping somebody be negative? You need to check yourself if the first thing that comes to your mind when you see something that's supposed to help people is something negative. That was not what this post was about. It wasn't what it was about. So anyway, I just believe that God is he's going to send help. He's going to send, and a lot of the help is going to come from us helping each other. See, this is more about unity than y'all even realize. Y'all so stuck on Republicans and Democrats, blacks and whites, Chinese and Puerto Ricans and Mexicans and all that kind of stuff, but you're missing the whole picture. You're missing what's the most important. The most important is we're supposed to love each other. We're supposed to be there for. We have to unite. If you got a lot of money and you can help somebody who don't, for whatever reason that they don't, then do that. Like, be a help. Like, unity is what we have to be. When you don't have no other choices, you got to unify. This is about unifying. This is about how can we come together and help each other. You know what I'm saying? Kind of like back at the time, in the Bible when they talk about Joseph and how Joseph ended up becoming the second in command. He had to go through a lot of stuff, but he ended up becoming second in command, and God gave him the wisdom, right, to know what to do, because God already knew that this famine was approaching, and so he still was going to take care of his children, and so he put Joseph in command so that Joseph would have the wisdom to put up a whole bunch of food when stuff was plentiful, so that when it wasn't, he could help the people. It's about helping each other. If you're not understanding that, then you're missing the whole point of why you're even on earth. It ain't about how big your car is. It's not about how cute you are, how long your hair is, whether you're Republican or Democrat, whether you're black, white, green, and yellow. It's about how can you help each other, because humanity is here to help each other. One of the biggest things God wants you to do is learn how to love each other. This is about unifying. This is about helping other people who are in need, because you don't know everybody's story. See, a lot of people are one paycheck away from homelessness themselves. A lot of people are living paycheck to paycheck. These corporations are changing and are using AI, and these jobs used to be so secure is now being replaced by computers. And so what's going to happen to those people? That wasn't their fault that happened. It wasn't their fault that they got laid off, but they still got 2, 3, 4, 5 kids to feed. They still got a grandma that they're taking care of. They still got a grandpa they're taking care of. So they still need resources. They still need help. You can't judge everybody. You look at somebody, a homeless person, and you're like, oh, well, they shouldn't be homeless. They should be, have a job. Well, maybe they got mental health issues, and maybe they can't. Mentally, they can't. And so they need those resources. It's about helping each other. You cannot judge people and think, oh, well, you should get a job. It's deeper than that for the ones who they need it. God said we always going to have poor people among us. There's different levels to this. There's the wealthy, and then there's the middle class, and there's the poor, and it's always going to be that way. And so the ones who don't have as much, or have more, should help the ones who don't have as much. Like it's about unity. And people don't want to talk about that because you're too busy wanting to talk about hate. You rather live in this energy right here than to be an angel in somebody's life. You rather live in this darkness right here, right, than to seeing how you can be a solution to the issue or to the problem. So I wasn't even going to do a live. I wasn't. I was going to wait till Sunday because I was like, I start the new chapter on Sunday. But it was just so heavy in my spirit today. And I'm like, you know what? I've got to do what God tells me to do when I feel it in my soul, because there's somebody who needs this, or there's people who need to understand this. See, in order for us to get to the rebuilding, because we really need to get to the rebuilding of America, of the world, we got to go through these issues, this stuff, It kind of reminds you of when we were reading 2 Chronicles and how Jerusalem and Judea was completely destroyed. They were completely destroyed by the Babylonians, right? They were complete because of their own doing. Because, Hezekiah is the one that tell the Babylon, come on in and see what all we got over here. And when they seen it, then they start coming in and trying to take it and take the slaves, all that kind of stuff. But God always hears the prayers of his children. And so God, listen, it's time to rebuild. It's time to, to heal. It's time to unite and rebuild Jerusalem and rebuild Judea. That's what was going on. This is why in Ezra, we're reading how God said, whatever you need during this rebuilding time, I'm going to bring to you. So what that tells me is in this season, right, when we're in this dark energy, because this is what we're in right now. This is this heaviness that we're feeling. When you go outside, you feel that heaviness. When you look at people on Facebook and they're crying and moaning, this is that heaviness that we're in right now. This is that dark cloud that's all over, like it's covering us like a thick fog, right? But God assigns angels, Jesus. He assigns destiny helpers. He brings in what is needed to help the people while while God is dealing with this right here. That's what the symbol is about. This is a dream that God gave me. This is a dream. And it blows my mind because it's really like a science fiction thriller, which is not my normal type of book, but it's spiritual in nature. You are entertaining angels unaware, but there's also demonic spirits that you're entertaining unaware as well. Don't think that there's, a whole bunch of angels and ain't no demonic forces. Like, it's both of them. I don't care what nobody say. We are going through a spiritual attack. It's going on in where you can't see it with your natural eyes. It's not like you can see, angels and demonic spirits fighting in the spiritual realm. No, you can't. But what's going on is you got stuff that's happening to people that's hurting people. You got people hurting people. You got people trying to destroy people. You got so much hatred going on. That's this dark energy that we're in right now. But help is on the way. Help is coming. And in some instances, help has already arrived. A lot of people have stories of how, just in the nick of time, someone popped in and helped them in this situation or that situation, or just in the nick of time, they got out of this issue or that issue. And they can't explain it except for they know that it was God. Like, you got those kind of stories, and there's more of that that's coming because God is going to answer the prayers of his children. So when you're out there praying for, praying for your family, for your household, for your children, for your grandmother, your father, and all that kind of stuff, no. Our prayers go out to Jamaica right now, where they're dealing with, what they're saying is a natural catastrophe type situation, or has the ability to be that. We're in prayer for that. We're supposed to pray for each other, Jesus, and we're supposed to be there for each other. The one thing I can say about 9/11, as horrific as that was, we understood how to come together as one and help each other. We helped the people that were experienced that devastation in New York and different areas. Like, we knew how to come together. There's times when we know how to come together, and this is one of those times. I don't give a darn if you're Republican, or Democrat, or what, that black, white, green, yellow, Hispanic, Puerto Rican. I don't care. If you know somebody who's in need and you can help them, this is the time when we are supposed to be destiny helpers for each other. It's about unity. It's about unity. So I'm moving forward with Nehemiah. I'm moving forward with second part of this of the Bible. But that song just really got to me. It went off, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on. That song really touched me. The Holy Ghost visiting you in the middle of the night. The dreams. There are so many of you who your dream life is about to increase. Jesus, divine visitation is about to increase. God is going to be giving you instructions in the middle of the night. He's going to be letting you know which, go this way, go that way, do this, do that, help this person or that person, because unity is so very important. And unity and the whole basis of unity is love, and God is love. So why would you not want to love? You want to spread love. Why do you want to help and spread hatred? Like, enough of that already. We already got 3 more years of this, or however long. And I'm praying that in this next election, people will vote so that at least we can put a stop to this, because the America is not just the 17% that's rich. Listen, y'all don't even understand. Y'all depend. See, what the wealthy don't understand is the reason why they got wealthy is because of the middle class and the poor. The middle class and the poor have been buying their services and their products, and that is what has made them wealthy. But when you cripple the ones who have been making you wealthy, then that means that you're about to lose too. Because the people who were buying your products and services, the people who were buying this and that and that and this, those people are who you're crippling. So if you're crippling the people who have the ability to buy your products and services, then that's going to cripple you too, because it's an ecosystem and we all depend on each other. So while you looking at somebody and you're saying, oh my goodness, you need to get a job, you living on food stamps. Okay, but that person was taking them food stamps and he was going to the local store, right? And he was buying food from the local store. When he bought that food from the local store, the government turned that into money, which that company was able to use to pay their employees and to pay the health benefits. And also it fed the people who were out in the farms and stuff who was creating this stuff so that they can make more stuff. They get more fertilizer, more seeds, more this, more that. It's an ecosystem. Do you understand? You can't cripple part of your ecosystem and think that you're not going to be affected. I don't care how much money you got. So while you're looking at all these people and you put your nose down at the people and they shouldn't need food stamps. Okay. But their food stamps were still helping to keep the economy going. Oh, well, they need to go back to school and get a better job and this, that, and the other. Okay, but their little job is helping you, right? Because what I know in the medical field, let's go in the medical field. In medical field, there are levels, right? You got the doctors, and then you got the nurses, and then you got the CNAs, and you got the patients. The patients are the ones who need the services, right? But I'm gonna tell you this: ain't no doctors going changing no diapers or nothing, or changing no bedpans. They're not sitting down feeding nobody. I can promise you that. So the doctors need the CNAs. The nurses need the CNAs because the nurses can't do the medication pass and feed the patient and change them and give them clothes and everything. They're not going to be able to do that, right? So they need the CNAs, right? And then also we need the patients because without the patients, you ain't even got no job. So you actually need patients. The patients have to choose you, and all them patients ain't don't have some high, beautiful insurance. Some of them just got Medicaid and Medicare, but that was paying for the salaries for the CNAs and for the nurses and for the doctors. It's an ecosystem, and when you take out a piece of the ecosystem, when you cripple a piece of the ecosystem, you are crippling the whole thing. Because we all need each other. Just like, the clouds. You got the clouds, and then when the clouds get heavy, here comes the rain. The rain comes down, and it helps to moisturize and feed the trees and the grass and all that kind of stuff, the vegetables and the fruits and all that kind of stuff. And then it goes back up as a gas, and it's completely always recycled. You remember that from chemistry. I ain't the smartest cat in the camp, but I understand that part. I did listen to that part. It's an ecosystem. But when you cripple one part of the ecosystem, you hurt all the other stuff that is dependent on it. So please understand, these people or these corporations or whatever is only looking at their bank account right now, and they're like, oh, everybody's, we're about to replace all the workers with robots. Okay, so those people who you're replacing with robots were the ones who were also buying your products and services. And so now you put them out of work, and now the government don't want to take care of them. Now they ain't got no job, and you got robots doing it. But guess what? Now you're about to have less money. Why? Because the ones who you was looking down on is the ones who was buying your products and services. It's an ecosystem. But God is going to come through, and he's going to take care of his children no matter what. Let me tell you something. The angels are coming. Please don't think that the legion of angels are not coming to fight this battle that's going on right now. Because that's what's going on right now. This dark cloud, this blackness that you see right here, this is the heaviness that is covering the United States right now. But don't think that God is not going to send his angels. His angels, if they're not already in certain places, they on their way. The legions are coming because God ain't playing by his children. I don't care. When the children get together and they start to praying, you got to understand the power that comes out of that prayer. You can read anywhere in the Bible. When the children unite, when they come together and they start crying out to God, and I'm like, God, please help us, please save us, please be there for us. God hears that. And when he hears that, he immediately sends people like he sent Moses. Because the children of Israel was crying. It was crying out to God, please. And so God sent Moses to tell Pharaoh, let my people go. But really what he was trying to do is he was trying to teach the children of Israel something, because they didn't understand the power of God. They didn't. And so, and even when he brought them out, they were still whining, complaining, and fussing, and acting a hot mess or whatever, to the point where Moses really didn't want to be dealing with them. In all honesty, you know what I'm saying? It got to the point where he just like getting angry with him too. He couldn't even really lead them no more. So that's why Joshua had to come in, because he needed somebody fresh, because Moses was wore out. Wore out. So anyway, let's get to the book of Nehemiah, because I'm always curious as to what God is going to lead us. And like I said, I wasn't going to do this until November 1st, but it was just on me today that I need to do another music ministry and Bible study. So God, I pray that whatever comes out of this scripture, Jesus, that you allow those who have ears to hear and a spirit to discern, that you will take through the scriptures, God, what it is that you're saying right now to us through the scriptures, because the Bible is real time. I've been telling people that since I started reading this in 2022, when God told me, I want you to start from the beginning. And he had me start from Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. And he had me go all the way up. And so now I'm in the book of Nehemiah. Israel was about to go to war in the same came through First and Second Chronicles, First and Second Kings. And what's going on right now? We got everybody out there yelling, no kings, no kings. Listen. So let's, God, just speak through me. In Jesus, I pray. Amen. Okay. So and please excuse me if I stumble or anything, because sometimes when I'm trying to pronounce these words, I promise you, these names be doing the most for me. So Lord, help me say it. All right. So Nehemiah's grief for the exiles. This is how Nehemiah's grief for the exiles. The words of Nehemiah, son of, here we go already, Hakalak, or Hacalia, Hacaliah. I don't know how to pronounce it. If you do, go back and read it and pronounce it. So anyway, now it happened in the month of Chislev, in the 12th year of the Persian king, as I was in the capital of Hanani, one of my brothers and some men came, and I asked them about the surviving Jews who had escaped and survived the captivity, and about Jerusalem. They said to me, the remnant there in the province who survived the captivity are in great distress, and the reproach, or the wall of Jerusalem, is broken down, and its fortified gates have been destroyed by fire. Now it came about, when I heard these words, I sat down and wept and mourned for days. And I was fasting and praying constantly before the God of heaven. And I said, please, O Lord, God of heaven, the great and awesome God, who keeps the covenant and loving kindness of those who love him and who keep his commandments, please let your ear be attentive and your eyes open to hear the prayer of your servant, which I am praying before you day and night on behalf of your servants, the descendants of Israel, Jacob, confessing the sins of the sons of Israel, which we have committed against you. I and my father's house have sinned. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm hot. We have acted very corruptly against you and have not kept the commandments, nor the statutes, nor the ordinances which you commanded your servant Moses. Please remember the word which you commanded your servant Moses, saying, if you are unfaithful and violent, your obligations to me, and I will scatter you abroad among the peoples. But if you return to me and keep my commandments and do them, though those of you who have been scattered are in the most remote part of the heavens, I will gather them from there, and I will bring them to the place where I have chosen for my name to dwell. Now they are your servants and your people, whom you have redeemed by your great power and by your strong hand. Please, O Lord, let your ear be attentive to the prayer of your servant and the prayer of your servants who delight to reverently fear your name, your essence, your nature, your attributes with awe, and make your servant successful this day, and grant him the compassion in the sight of this man, the king. For I was cupbearer to the king of Persia. So that's the end of chapter 1. All right. So at this point, we have Nehemiah, who's basically, he has heard about, what happened to those who escaped or survived captivity of Jerusalem. And so he's praying. He's basically praying, just like we're praying. We're praying over America. We're praying over the world. And we're like, we know that we have done wrong. We've sinned in your sight, but God, please, we're crying out to you in unity. Jesus, we're coming forward and we're asking you to please have mercy on us. Have mercy on, the children that are, the people, the nations, the world, like Jesus, like Lord, like help us. Like many churches are coming together and praying. Many people are praying. We're praying over Jamaica. We're praying over what's going on in America. We're praying over, all the other Haiti and all the other countries and cities and places that are going through turmoil right now, because we understand that there is a darkness or there's a heaviness that has come over the land. And it's because of, all the times that we have not done your will and we've been just doing what we want to do. But now we understand that we are living the consequences of that. So we're coming to you and we're asking for forgiveness. This is what Nehemiah was doing. Nehemiah began praying for the people. Jesus. So here we go to chapter 2. It says, in the way, each one of my sections are always, they have a title. And it says, Nehemiah's prayer answered. In the month of Nisan, Nisan, which I may not be pronouncing it right, but in the 20th year of King, Lord, Artaxerxes, or Artaxerxes, when wine was placed before him, I took the wine and gave it to the king. Now I had not previously been sad in his presence. So the king said to me, why do you look sad when you are not sick? This is nothing but sadness of heart. Then I was very frightened. And I said to the king, let the king live forever. Why should my face not be sad when the city, the place of my father's tombs, lies desolate and its gates have been consumed by fire? The king said to me, what do you request? So I prayed to the God of heaven. I said to the king, if it pleases the king, and if your servant has found favor in your presence, I ask that you send to Judea, to the city of my father's tombs, so that women. I ask that you send me to Judea, to the city of my father's tombs, so that I may rebuild it. The king, beside whom the queen was sitting, asked me, how long will your journey take? And when will you return? So it pleased the king to send me, and I gave him a definite time for my return. Then I said to the king, if it pleases the king, let letters be given to me for the governors of the provinces beyond the Euphrates River, so that they will allow me to pass through until I reach Judea. And a letter to Aspha, or Asaph, the keeper of the king's forest, so that he will give me timber to construct beams for the gates of the fortress, which is by the temple, and for the city wall, and for the house which I will occupy. And the king granted me what I asked, for the good hand of my God was upon me. Then I came to the governors of the provinces beyond the Euphrates River and gave them the king's letter. Now the king had sent officers of the army and horsemen with me. Then Sanballat of Horonite and Tobiah of Ammonite official heard this. It caused them great displeasure that someone had come to see about the welfare and prosperity of the Israelites. And it says, Nehemiah inspects Jerusalem's walls. So I came to Jerusalem and was there for 3 days. Then I got up in the night, I and few men with me. I did not tell anyone that my God was putting in my heart to do for Jerusalem. And there was no animal with me except the one on which I was riding, so as not to attract attention. So I went out at night by the valley gate toward the dragon's wall, well, and to the refuse gate, and inspected the walls of Jerusalem, which were broken down, and its gates, which were consumed by fire. Then I passed over to the fountain gate and to the king's pool, but there was no place for the animal that I was riding to pass. So I went up at night by the raven of Kidron and inspected the wall. Then I turned back and entered the city by the valley gate and returned. The officials did not know where I had gone or what I had done, nor had I told the Jews, the priests, the nobles, the officials, or the work. Then I said to them, "You see the bad situation that we are in. How Jerusalem is desolate and lies in ruins, and its gates have been burned with fire. Come and let us rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, so that we will no longer be a disgrace." Then I told them how the hand of my God had been favorable to me, and also about the words that the king had spoken to me. And they said, "Let us rise up. Let us rise up and build." So they thoroughly supported the good work. But then Sanballat, the Horonite, and Tobiah, the Ammonite official, and Geshem, the Abram, heard about it. They mocked and they regarded us with contempt and said, "What is this thing you are doing? Are you rebelling against the king?" I answered them, "The God of heaven has appointed us for his purpose and will give us success. Therefore, we, his servants, will arise and build, but you have no portion, right? You have no portion, right, or memorial in Jerusalem." So that's the end of chapter 2. What stuck out to me is when he's talking, he always says us. It was a unified effort. God was giving them whatever they needed to rebuild. But he couldn't rebuild it by itself. It took unity. It took us working together in order to rebuild Jerusalem. It's going to take us. It's going to take unity to rebuild our nations and our cities and our countries. And with that unity is got to come love, because see, love is stronger than hate any day of the week. Hate might seem like now like it's winning. It might seem like, hatred is the thing. Everybody wants to put out hatred. Oh, why did that? They want to do that hatred thing. But love is stronger, and love will always overcome in the end. Understand that. And God is going to send whatever is needed to rebuild, right? He's going to send it, right? The help is coming, but the one thing God is trying to teach us is the importance of unity, because Nehemiah could not have built that wall by himself. He couldn't have redid Jerusalem by himself. It took the people. It took us. It was more than just him. It took a legion of people to help, but God gave him favor. In this season, God is going to give his children favor. Give his children favor with people in high places, to help with the rebuilding, because the rebuilding is going to have to come after this destruction, after this energy right here God really starts to deal with this. God gonna deal with this energy. God gonna deal with this. Karma is real. Watch how you treat people in this season, because it's coming back to you. And it's always worse. For every one of these evil kings that did horrible stuff to the people they were supposed to be over, they always met with horrific situations. Every one of them that I read, every evil king that was hurting the people, it might have seemed like they was winning until it got to the point where God, his wrath came, and those people always dealt with some evilness. It wasn't pretty for them. It wasn't. It made me want to read another. It made me want to read chapter. It made me want to read chapter 3. Builders of the walls. Then is it Elisha? Elisha. Eliashib, but I'm just going to call him Elisha because I probably ain't pronouncing it right. The priest rose up with his brothers, the priests, and built the sheep gate. They consecrated it and set up its doors, and they consecrated the wall westward to the Tower of the Hundred, and as far as the Tower of Hanal. Next, Egypt, the men of Jericho built in next to Elisha, the men of Jericho built, and next to them, Zakur, the son of Imar, built. So they were all building together. Now the sons of Hishanah built the fish gate, and they laid its beams and set up its doors with its bolts and its bars. Next to them, Memeroth, Meremoth, the son of Uriah, the son of Hakazo, I guess Hakkoz, made repairs. Next to him was Meshullam, Meshullam, the son of Berechiah. I don't know, the son of a whole bunch of different sons. So basically, it's like it's okay. So I'm looking at all these different tribes. When you read, wow. So let me see. So all the way from Nehemiah chapter 3, all the way from verse 1, all the way up to the whole chapter. The whole chapter of chapter 3. Listen, I'm not going to even torture y'all trying to say all these names, but you can go back and read chapter 3. But really, what it's saying is each tribe, all these people were coming together to rebuild the wall. They were all people from different tribes. Next to them was this tribe, and this tribe was building this part, and then next to them was another tribe, and that tribe was building that part, and there was another tribe, and that tribe was building that part, and then over here his sons and they people was building this part, and then it was a unified effort. The rebuilding of the wall, the rebuilding of Jerusalem was a unified effort. It took the people to rebuild after the devastation that was caused by the kings. Jesus, the kings, that caused the breakdown. Because if you go back to Second Chronicles, you understand, or you know that that Jerusalem was completely destroyed. Captivity in Babylon begun. This is 36 chapter. This is Second Chronicles chapter 36 verse 10, and it talks about the breaking down or the destruction of Jerusalem. It was completely destroyed by the end of Second Chronicles. Or if you go back to let's go back to Second Kings. Second Kings. Because God is going somewhere with this. Listen, Second Kings. Let me go back to Second Kings. Okay. Because Chronicles was long. Lord have mercy. Okay. Let's go back to Second Kings. Let's go back to Second Kings. Okay, okay. So if you read Second Kings chapter 25, it talks about how Nebuchadnezzar besieges Jerusalem, and it talks about the destruction of Jerusalem, and how they were taken captive to Babylon. So now here we are. It's been this, it is. I really want to say I want to blame it on well, it's basically the king's fault. I can't even blame it on one particular king, because there was a lot of kings that were very evil that caused the breakdown. So I can't just blame it on Hezekiah, even though Hezekiah is the one who brought Babylon to Jerusalem and showed them all that he had. But there were other kings after that were evil, so they continued with the destruction of Jerusalem. So The evil kings caused the destruction, but it was the people. It was the people who had to work together to rebuild the wall. So chapter 3 is about all these different people of these different tribes that was coming together, and each one had an assignment of what they had to do and how they had to repair and what part they had to repair. And everybody had to work together. Jesus. Everybody had to work together. Everybody had to help each other. In this season, we're going to have to help each other. We're going to have to work together. You know, that's the only way that we're going to overcome, is we're going to have to work together. You're going to have to get out of your selfish, woe is me, I'm better than everybody else, and this is happening to you because it's your fault. I'm not going to get out of that energy, because that right there is this energy right here. That's what's keeping this cloud over us. We need you to come into this energy right here, which is the energy of the destiny helpers, so that we can help each other get through these trying times. Not one person alone is not going to be able to do it. It's going to have to be a unified effort. That's the only thing that's going to get us through these next few years, because it's only really just beginning. And because the ones who are here do not understand the ecosystem, they're not understanding that eventually what is affecting the people will eventually affect them, because it's an ecosystem. And in an ecosystem, everybody has to work together in order for it to flow efficiently. So if you destroy one part of the ecosystem, eventually it's going to affect the ones who think that they can't be touched, because it's the people that are helping to feed the ecosystem so that you can be up here. So if the people down here is destroyed, who's going to buy your services? Who's going to buy your products? You're going to be up there all by yourself with what? Because ain't nobody going to be there to help feed and keep you there. So eventually it's going to affect your bottom dollar. It's going to affect you. It's going to affect us. What affects one affects all. We are all on this earth, and we are all here to help each other to survive on this earth together. And when you start to hurting the bottom dollar, imagine you got a hospital, right? Your hospital can have millions of dollars in it, right? Millions of dollars. And you got all these patients, and you're taking care and everything is good. But all those patients need direct care. They got to have direct care. They need somebody to help bathe them, wash them, change them. They need somebody to help feed them if they can't feed themselves. You need the bottom people. You need the people at the bottom. You need the CNAs. The CNAs have got to take care of the patients in order for the nurses to make sure that they give them their medicine, and in order for the doctors to give the orders for the nurses to follow, for the CNAs to follow, to help the patient. But if you don't got no CNAs, who gonna take care of the patients? Who gonna feed them? You can give them all the medicine in the world, but if they ain't eating, if they ain't drinking, if they're laying soiled, right, and nobody's there to change them, turn them, or do whatever, nobody's able to do that, then the patient's not going to get better. I don't care how much medicine you give them. So that's going to end up affecting, and so if the patients start dying, or if the people start taking their patients, their family members out of that hospital because they feel like they're not getting the care, then that's going to affect the amount of money that's flowing in. So now they can start laying off the nurses because there's not enough patients to take care of the patients. And so then if they don't have any nurses and the money's not flowing from the patients, then the doctors are not going to be able to get paid either. So now we're going to start laying off doctors. See, it's a whole ecosystem. We all got to work together. We all got to help each other. One can't survive without the other. You may be the owner of a corporation, but you still need the people. Target found that out, right? Because Target, they start, the African Americans and the minorities was like, well, if you're not going to, honor your promise to us, then we're not going to shop at your store. And so when they started to realize, at first they probably thought, who cares if they shop at our store? But then they started to realize that they needed them. because it affects their bottom dollar. And so then they start having issues at the top because now the money ain't flowing the way it used to flow because some of the people that you looked at that you felt like is at the bottom ain't buying products and services. We need each other. I'm not trying to, see, I'm going to tell you what really, in my opinion, what really, really went down. This is just my opinion. Right? I feel like, for whatever reason, y'all did the most to, Trump when y'all did the most to him. Y'all tried to destroy this man with all the stuff that you say he's been doing all these years, or karma caught up with him, or whatever the situation was. And so lawsuits and all this stuff, all this stuff was going on to this man. So you think that he wasn't building up some hate and animosity and stuff? And then you have these other people who were already being bred in hate. They've been that people, they great granddaddy hated people. They all the way down to the 14th century. Nobody liked the minorities, the black people, or whatever. So all this hatred, you got all this hatred on top of a man who y'all tried to destroy. Then you turn around and you make those same people be in charge of the land. You thought he was gonna forget everything you tried to do? You thought he was gonna forget what you did to his family and his finances and his business? Oh, you thought he was just gonna let all that slide? We sorry, we're gonna go ahead and let you be president. Oh yeah, okay, well, I'm coming back to get you. Revenge is a mug. Like, this is a revenge type thing, because why would you try to crumple the people? But what you don't understand is it's the ecosystem. And so when you crumble the people, you're going to eventually hurt the whole system. Is going to crumble because you need each other. You need each other. I know y'all remember that from science class. I ain't the smartest cat in the camp, but I understand about that part. I remember that part of science. And you know that to be true. If you got a business, I don't care how much money your business got or whatever. If you ain't got no customers coming into your store, then you're going to run through all your savings and your business is going to collapse. Because why? Because you need the customers, you need the people. You're somebody who you sell. You sell stuff for the senior citizens. That's what your company is made off of. Okay, well, that means you need those senior citizens. And a lot of them senior citizens, they're living off of a monthly check and they're living off of food stamps or whatever, but they gonna come with their little check and stuff. They gonna come to your store and they gonna buy your services and products because that's what they need. But now they suffering. They can't buy what they used to buy because now they gotta worry about food and stuff. So they're not gonna be able to shop in your store. They're not gonna be able to buy the stuff they used to buy from you because they don't got the money now. Right? So that's going to hurt your bottom dollar. So if you was used to making $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $15,000 a month off these little people who was coming in your store with the little extra that they had to buy these products and services, you're not going to have that no more. So now what? You done went and bought all these, and there's a big giant car that costs, $1,000 a month, and you got this house now that costs like $15,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $5,000 a month. But now the little people who used to shop that made you be able to afford that ain't shopping no more because they don't got it. Why? Because you have crumbled them. You have crumbled them. You have messed up the ecosystem. We all need each other. It's about unity. United States of America. That means that a whole bunch of states came united and they feed off of each other. They help each other. And all this stuff is going United Nations because the nations are different. They're buying from each other. They're helping each other. It's an ecosystem. And when you cripple part of the ecosystem, you're crippling your country. You're crippling your nation. You're crippling your business because we all need each other. One cannot survive without the other, not for long. The rebuilding of the wall It required all those different people. And you see, the Bible got a whole bunch of them. I ain't want to go through all of them, but it's a whole bunch of them. It's like a lot of blah, blah, blah. And, this family helped that family. Who brought this stick? Who brought this building? Who brought this? They got this son helped this part of the wall. This one also made these repairs. It goes down next to him was these people and who made repairs on that part. And then they had some overseers and their cousin JoJo and Uncle Jim brought the doors and the bolts and stuff. And then over there, the people over there, came and they brought this for the timber, for this. Everybody had to come together to rebuild. It was all this, no one tribe or no part, one family or one community was able to build or sustain Jerusalem or Judea. It took the unified effort. It took all of them. It was an ecosystem. So if you mess up one part of your ecosystem, you're messing up the whole thing. It's just a matter of time, right? It's just a matter of time. So for all of you, I don't care, Democrat, Republican, black, white, green, yellow, Puerto Rican, Mexican, African American, I don't care. We all need each other. Every store you see depends on somebody coming inside that store and buying something. A lot of you have corporations and companies that sell stuff that is not a need, but it's a want. But people have been able to do that. Why? Because we have the ones who are on the lower level, I guess if you want to call them, that's on the food stamps and the monthly checks or whatever, that has still been using their money to buy something from the stores, which has kept the money flowing. But if ain't nobody able to buy nothing, if you cripple a whole people, like, oh, forget them. We ain't going to take care of them. They poor, we don't need them. Yes, you do, because they was half the reason why you got to where you are, because it was all those nickels and dimes and quarters and stuff that was making you become a millionaire. So now you don't have that because they can't afford that. So now you're about to see a drop in your sales. And then you got the people angry. So now they don't even want to shop with you no more because you don't even give a darn about them. That you've told them, we don't care about you. We don't care about it. All we care about is how we can make more products and more products and more products. But don't forget, you just started all these wars all over these other countries and stuff. So they ain't really trying to mess with you all like that. They ain't trying to buy your product all like that. And then you done crumpled all the people who you feel like you don't need them because, they're on welfare or they got a little check or they got a little dollar. Or they on minimum wage and that kind of stuff. But you don't understand that you need them because they're the ones who's been buying your products and your services. It's an ecosystem. And we need each other. The Bible shows that. With the building of the wall, it needed all those people, all those tribes. If you go back and read Nehemiah Chapter 3, where it says builders of the wall, you'll see all these different people from different, his son and her son and their son and all them. And they were all a part of different parts. Somebody had the doorknob, somebody had the gate, somebody had the timber, somebody had the this. And everybody came together. They had to unify. They had to build the wall together. It was about unity. And no one could build the wall by themselves. It took a unified effort. God, I pray that I did what you wanted me to do. I pray that I said what you wanted me to say. I pray that I spoke what you wanted me to speak. And I pray that those who have ears to hear, let them hear. Whether it be those in, everyday levels or king levels or wherever, and let's speak to them. Because the one thing I see is that God, there were people in high places, there were kings and rulers that God gave favor. God gave Nehemiah favor with the king. And the king gave him permission that he needed to go back to gather the people that he needed to go back to Jerusalem to begin to build the wall. God is going to send in his destiny helpers, and his destiny helpers are located in different places, even in politics. You got destiny helpers in the Republican Party. You got destiny helpers in the Democratic Party. You got destiny helpers in this corporation and that corporation. You got destiny helpers in this, in this food bank or that food bank or this community or this church or whatever. And we all have to come together. It's about unity in order to get us through this dark cloud, or this dark season, or this dark area. We need all of you, all you destiny helpers who have been placed in places of leadership, or even if you're down, on the ground and you're working with the people one-on-one, you're dealing with the homeless one-on-one, you're dealing with the seniors one-on-one, you're dealing with the children one-on-one. Wherever God has placed you, you are needed to against this energy that's trying to come in and destroy. That's what this symbol is all about. That's what it's about. Of course, the cover on Amazon looks different, but but you can go to lulu.com. I think I got it on there. I don't know. Maybe not. But this book came to me in a dream. God is going to be giving you, God is going to be speaking to you in a dream. He's going to give you information and wisdom and knowledge on what to do and how to do it. He's going to speak to you. As you pray to him, God's going to come and he's going to bring divine helpers. Maybe in the middle of the night, you might wake up and just hear God speaking words of instruction to you, or words of encouragement, or letting you know that he's there, because God said he never leave you nor forsake you. So, don't be surprised about those midnight dreams or you're waking up in the middle of the night and don't know why, but your mind is thinking about how a solution to a problem or issue. It's like you're getting divine downloads in the middle of the night. Don't be surprised, because God will give you stuff in your dreams, just like he gave me this book in my dreams. This is a warning of what was to come, and we're living in this season right now, and I didn't even know it. It's fictional. It's so crazy because it even talks about Chicago, Atlanta. This is really deep. So I'm gonna read the back of my cover just because I just felt the need to about this. But this is on Amazon, but it's on Amazon with a different cover, because this is the cover that I had made independently. But it says Joseph Battle, a registered nurse at Sylvania Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia, has secretly loved his fellow colleague and best friend Mary Anderson since middle school. His dream of winning Mary's heart is destroyed when she falls in love and marries the handsome new neurosurgeon, Dr. Devin Sutton. After a nurse at Sylvania Hospital becomes the 12th victim of a serial killer who leaves a symbol on all the victims, Joseph and his father discover that Dr. Sutton has a dark hidden secret, a secret so deadly that it can destroy Mary, her unborn child, and all of humanity. It's so deep how God gave this to me. It's deep. It is. But it is on Amazon, It's on Amazon. But Amazon, you start to if you actually start firing all those people, and you leave all them people without jobs, they're gonna start mumbling and grumbling, right? And then people are gonna start talking about how Amazon don't care about the people. So don't be surprised if they decide that they don't really want to be shopping there anymore, because they want to shop where they're supported. People want to shop where they feel love. How can you really appreciate people if your thoughts is about the bottom dollar? We need each other. It's an ecosystem. Thank you, Father, for allowing me to have this word, for allowing me to share this word. I pray it touches whoever is meant to touch. And for those who are dealing with situations and they are looking for blessings and miracles and destiny helpers, God, I pray that you release them into their life, God, and give them whatever it is that they're praying. Give them, if it's financial resources, if it's food, health, whatever it is that they're praying to you about in the midnight hours, God. I pray that you give them signs through their dreams or through visions or, through music or through, podcast or however you send it to them, to let them know that you've heard them, and then give them what it is that they need. I pray, God, that in this week, Jesus, in this last week of October, that you show, yourself strong, and you provide blessings and last minute miracles and destiny helpers and things to show up to open doors and make a way for those who are worried or who are stressed or who don't have all that they need. I pray, God, that this is the beginning of us coming together and unifying in the land, even though we got people in high places that are making decisions that we have no control over. I pray that us in the land, that we're able to come together almost like a huddle, and we're able to help each other and to bless each other and to be there for each other, God. And just please allow us to, this the transfer of wealth to come to the people, because it's time for the people to start creating their own ecosystems where they can join together because of what's going on with the large corporations. Allow us to start building ecosystems amongst ourselves that we can help each other and take care of each other and be there for each other through these trying times until you bring us out of this dark energy. I pray that in Jesus' holy name. Amen. Thank y'all so much and have a great day. I know I was on here a long time, but hey, I had to get this word out. Peace and love. God, please send whoever you want to see it now or later at the time that you want them to see it. And then give them proof that this is coming from you through me, and it has nothing really to do with me. In Jesus' name, amen.